For thousands of years, we shared this planet with another kind of human. They weren't primitive brutes stumbling through the Ice Age. They were intelligent, resourceful, and surprisingly like us. They were the Neanderthals. For a long time, we pictured them as stooped, ape-like creatures, a failed branch on our family tree. But what if everything we thought we knew was wrong? What if they were artists, innovators, and loving parents? And more importantly, what if their story didn't truly end, but lives on inside of us? Let's travel back in time to a world ruled by ice. From Europe to Central Asia, Neanderthals thrived for over 300,000 years, far longer than we Homo sapiens have been around. They were built for the cold, shorter, stockier bodies that conserved heat, and a wide nose to warm the frigid air. Their brains were even slightly larger than ours on average. Forget the club-wielding caveman cliché. Neanderthals were master toolmakers. They developed the Mousterian technique, crafting sophisticated stone points, scrapers, and hand axes from flint. These weren't just random rocks. They were the Swiss Army knives of the Paleolithic era, used for everything from hunting massive woolly mammoths to preparing hides for clothing. They weren't just surviving. They were living. Evidence from caves in Spain and France suggests Neanderthals had a sense of symbolism and art. They used mineral pigments like ochre, possibly for body paint or rituals. They collected eagle talons and unique shells, which some archaeologists believe were worn as jewelry. Imagine tens of thousands of years before the first cities. A Neanderthal carefully drilling a hole in a shell to string it on a cord, expressing an identity, an idea. They weren't just hunters, they were people with a culture, and they cared for each other. Skeletal remains tell incredible stories. At a site called Shanidar Cave in modern-day Iraq, archaeologists found the skeleton of an older Neanderthal man who had suffered multiple, severe injuries in his youth. He was partially blind, had a withered arm, and walked with a painful limp. Yet, he lived for years after his injuries, long enough for his bones to heal. This was only possible if his group fed him, protected him, and cared for him. This wasn't survival of the fittest in its crudest sense. It was a community bound by compassion. They also buried their dead, sometimes with offerings like flowers or tools. This suggests they had complex thoughts about life, death, and maybe even an afterlife. So, if they were so successful and so much like us, where did they go? This is one of archaeology's greatest mysteries. Around 40,000 years ago, as modern humans, our ancestors migrated out of Africa and into Neanderthal territory in Europe. The Neanderthals began to disappear. There was no single, dramatic event. Their extinction was likely a slow, complex process. Perhaps our ancestors, with slightly more advanced projectile weapons like spear throwers, outcompeted them for resources. Maybe our larger social networks gave us an edge in tough times. Climate change could have also played a significant role, disrupting the ecosystems they relied on. But there's another fascinating part of this story. We didn't just replace them. We met them, and we had children together. The proof is in our DNA. Today, most people of non-African descent have between 1 to 4% Neanderthal DNA in their genome. That small percentage is a powerful legacy. It influences everything from our immune systems and our hair type to our susceptibility to certain diseases. So, in a very real way, Neanderthals never completely vanished. A small piece of them lives on in billions of people. Today, they are the forgotten branch of our family, the silent contributors to who we are. They were not a failed experiment, but a different, successful version of being human. Their story is our story. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the past. If you found this fascinating, please hit that like button and subscribe for more deep dives into human history. What do you think happened to the Neanderthals? Let me know in the comments below. See you next time.